Okay, let's get started. Let's take a few deep breaths. You can take your arms overhead if you'd like. Expand the rib cage. Get a good diaphragmatic breath. Now let's take chin to chest. Doing some neck range of motion. We're going to take ear to shoulder, keeping the opposite shoulder down. And back down, chin to chest. Back up, opposite ear to shoulder. Hand position is optional. Back down and center. And we're going to rotate as much as we can. Rotate all the way around to the opposite side. And back down. Now some good arm circles. Going through as much motion as you can. You can also look back at that hand. That's going to bring in more neck and trunk rotation. But again, this is optional. Just go through the range of motion you have. Opposite side. So we're doing 3 to 4 on each side. If you feel when you're performing any of these stretches, you need a little more, stay there. Or revisit that later. Now let's get a chest expansion, bringing the arms together. Pulling back. Let's do one more. Big stretch on the pec muscles. Shoulder roll. Big rolls. Going backwards. Now we're going to do a shoulder stretch. Again, hand movement is optional. But I'm holding above the elbow on this. This is a posterior capsule stretch. And make sure not to have it too high up to where it's around your neck or near your neck. Keep this low. Now this is a bicep stretch. With the rotation and going back, you're going to feel a nice stretch in the biceps. And a tricep stretch. If you're able to get your arms in this position, the leaning over is a little bit of a bonus to get more of a lat stretch. Also, looking up is also optional. Just try to get a good stretch in the back of that arm. And let's switch sides. Grabbing the other arm, bringing it over. Leaning over and looking up if you choose. Now we're going to get some mid-back, pulling the shoulder blades away. Exhaling as you're performing this stretch. Almost like a standing cat-cow. Let's do one more. Just some wrist and finger mobility. Because your wrists and fingers get stiff, and rheumatoid arthritis really affects the hands, let's always make sure to give those a good stretch. Circling the wrists. And then let's go the other side. Remember, only go to a gentle stretch. And circle the wrist on the opposite arm. Okay, now we're going to get into the hamstring and a little bit of the calf. You can hold on to a wall if you need to. So a little bit of a static stretch, then I'm going to do just some mobility, reaching down, keeping my back flat, pulling those toes up towards me. As with a flat back, I am reaching down towards my toes. Now let's try to get a quad stretch. You may be able to reach that foot and you may not. If you are unable to reach that foot, just bend the leg up as much as you can, keeping your trunk straight. Again, hold on to a chair if you feel that's necessary for balance. All right, same thing on the opposite side. I'm just going to do this in a little bit of reverse order. Good quad stretch. And going into that hamstring range, pulling those toes up. Again, if you feel you need to hold on to something, make sure to hold on to a chair or a wall. You can also stay in any of those positions a little bit longer. All right, let's go into a side lunge stretch. Just going through what range of motion you have today. Keep these movements slow. And controlled. All right, now we're going to do a combination, a little bit of balance, along with some ankle circles. You can, if you don't feel comfortable balancing in this position, stand against a wall or have a chair to hold on to. So balance on one side, ankle circles on the other. Ankle circles in both directions. Balance is so important with rheumatoid arthritis. All right, let's go to the floor. We're going to start with bringing the knee into the chest and going into a little bit of a hamstring stretch from that knee to chest position. Doing just what you can. And we're going to do 3 to 4 on each side. Great mobility for the low back and the hamstring. And then we are going to go into a bridge. So a little bit of strength and stabilization in here, in addition to a nice stretch in the front of the thigh and in the front of the hip. I'm going to be doing 10 repetitions. You do what you can. Make sure to exhale as you come up. And we're going to do a glute or hip stretch, pulling the knee and the ankle and then pushing the knee away, which will get a little bit more of the front of the hip. This is going to get the back of the hip. You're pulling that knee towards the opposite shoulder. And let's switch sides. Knee in towards the opposite shoulder and push away. Knee in. And push away. And now we're going to do some just rotation, keeping the opposite shoulder down. So you only go as far as you can, making sure to keep the upper body stable on the ground. I'm also, when I'm performing this, thinking of using my core muscles to help bring those legs back up. So nice mobility, bringing blood flow into the low back, but also a good core strengthener. Okay, you did it. Thank you for joining me for this mobility routine. Have a great day.